Hey, sorry, mathematicians. I accidentally hit the stop button before I got done recording. So it's helpful just to kind of use a little background information to figure out, like, what do these words mean in real life, so that maybe that can help us to figure out which term is appropriate to determine the relationship between those two angles. So the first thing that I'm going to look at is the two right here that say same side. So angle B and C, if they were a same side, interior or exterior. Right now, I'm just using my background knowledge to try to figure out whether or not that might be a possibility. And I personally, although I guess technically I do actually know the answer, so, I've got a little bit of an advantage. But if I were just using my background information and what I know about what the word same side means, I would assume that that probably means that they're on the same side of something. Well, if I look at where they are in relation to this parallel line, they're not on the same side, are they? One's up there and one is down there. So for that reason, I'm going to, in my educated guess, I'm going to rule out same side as an option. But just in case, and I'm also going to look at where they are in relation to the transversal. And once again, they're not on the same side of the transversal, are they? They're on opposite sides. So for that reason, I'm going to use my background knowledge and just kind of think, okay, it's probably not those two that are going to be the correct answer. And so then I'm going to look at the word alternate. So I'm going to look at the next section that use the word alternate, which will be those two right there. So alternate means like, it actually has several different definitions, but I have a tendency to think of it as like one versus the other. Like the word alternative means like you're making a choice, like one or the other. So that kind of makes me think that maybe instead of same side, that might mean like on either side. So I'm going to still think of it in terms of like where they are according to this transversal. And they are kind of on like alternate sides of the transversal, right? So for that reason, I might think that the word alternate definitely might have something to do with it. But then now I'm going to look at the word interior, which is also like part of that vocab word, right? Interior means inside, right? Excuse me, guys, I got a little tickle in my throat there. And in my mind, the fact that interior means inside, that makes me think that for them to be alternate interior angles, they would need to be like inside of those two parallel lines. And that angle B is outside of those parallel lines. So I'm going to make the educated guess that it's probably not alternate interior. And then alternate exterior, in my mind, exterior means that it would be outside of the parallel lines. Well, outside the parallel lines, they would both have to be, I would say, here. And so angle C is inside those parallel lines, right? So for all those reasons, I'm also going to use just an educated guess that these are probably not the right ones either. So that leaves vertical, adjacent, and corresponding. So I do know that in real life, adjacent, so that's the next one I'm going to go to. The word adjacent means that they're in some way attached to each other. And so looking at angle C and angle B, they are like kind of attached, right? Sort of. They've got like that little point right there. But typically when you think of things that are adjacent, they usually mean that they're like side by side. So I'm, again, going to take my best guess that that one probably doesn't work. And so I'm actually going to choose vertical because you notice that these two are actually like kind of vertical. They're like across from each other. So I'm going to take an educated guess that these are vertical angles. So once you've got your educated guess, you're going to click the button that says check answers. And what do you know? It told me that those are correct. Okay, so angle B and angle C are vertical angles. Another way that I kind of like to think of vertical angles is they kind of look like two angles, like they kind of look like they form a letter V, two letter V's that are kind of like stuck together, like right there. So that's another way that I remember that the angles that are like diagonal from each other are also vertical angles. So now that I have the relationship, I'm going to fill that in my chart over here. So angle A, or I'm sorry, nope, angle B, because that's what it was asking us for, is angle B and angle C. So angle B is vertical to angle C. So underneath the part of the chart that says vertical to, I'm going to type that angle B is vertical to angle C. I am also going to type that angle C is vertical to angle B. And so you're going to go through and take, again, your best educated guess. You're going to fill in like the whole chart for what you think those relationships are. And my virtual kids, once you think that you've got the correct answers in every cell of the chart here, when you turn in this assignment on Google Classroom, add a private comment that says you're ready for me to check. And that way I receive an email right away so that we can check your activity and make sure that all your answers are correct before you move on to the next one.